At the University of Glasgow, we have over 130 collections that relate directly to Scotland's textile heritage. Archives and Special Collections hold the Scottish Business Archive to serve as a research resource for academics at the university.
The textile archive collections at Glasgow University are so central to the research that I do in terms of looking at the past through textiles, so understanding where things have been made and how they've been made.
I'm a master's student of dress and textile histories at University of Glasgow. I use the archives for assignments research, which involves looking at the documentary evidence of how people lived, where they bought items that were manufactured. Using the textile archives in particular provides context to the objects that we are looking at, whether that's an item of clothing or a piece of textile. We can find out much information from records, documents, literary sources contained there about how people used items that were manufactured in Glasgow and nationwide.
The things that I found really significant for my work through the archive has been where we've got examples of text written by people that have produced things, particularly in the 19th century, the Industrial Revolution period, where there's lots of technology coming together with design and industry, and that really excites me from that perspective.
It's really important to us that members of the public are able to access the records of Scotland's industry and business. So we welcome inquiries from around the world and researchers in our reading rooms to access this rich heritage of Scotland's industry.
I've got a theatre company production company really, called What's Her Face, and we want to do a musical set in the Templeton's Carpet Factory in the 1960s. So I approached Claire and she very kindly said I could come up to the archives. We found lots of things. We found photographs, there's loads of photographs. We'd like to do a real story. See if we found a story that was about anybody, actually. It could be about any of the workers. We could maybe build on that rather than make up, which is all right to make up a story as well, but it'd be nice to have some truth. And then I'm sure there's going to be plenty of information there to find.
In the records of a manufacturer such as Stoddard and Templeton, our carpet designers, we have records that relate to production, so the design process, taking an idea and putting it into a pattern for a finished product. And the records then can show us how that artistic ideal was put into production. In the 1860s, the peak of Scotland's textile industry, 1 in 10 jobs in the Scottish workforce was related to the textile industry. It's really important that we are able to share the stories of this wonderful industry with today's researchers.
My research is a little bit unusual because I'm a scientist in the College of Arts, so I am connecting in material analysis with documented evidence, with textile history, and bringing that all together to understand the human stories about these objects that exist. So the collections like Faulkner's collections that are part of the House of Fraser, where we have catalogues from stores, things that the everyday ordinary person is buying. It has pictures, it has descriptions, it has prices in these little lovely illustrated catalogues. And there'll also be samples that the store has been sent, so pieces of fabric, physical pieces of fabric. So we can join up many things there. We can join up descriptions, we can join up the illustrations.
One of the real gems among our textile collections are the product catalogues that have come with the House of Fraser archive. So my own personal favourites are those from the 1930s, held within the archives of John Faulkner. Faulkner's was an Aberdeen department store, and their 1930 catalogues are just full of beautiful outfits for men and women, really evoking the fashions of the time, and I just love getting them out to show them off and just really enjoy the 1930s design style.
Coates and Clark's collection, so that's JP and Coates and Clark and Co. They're a very, very large documentary collection of staff records, product labels, design information, factory information about the companies who are based in Paisley. I actually volunteered at the Paisley Thread Mill Museum, and there are lots of objects there, but in conjunction with the archive, we can build up a really good picture of the company history, how they operated and how they manufactured the thread products, both in Paisley and in a global sense.
Our collections are a really rich resource for today's designers, so we've been really lucky to work with a number of design companies in the last couple of years who've come in, looked at the collections and gone away to be inspired and create new products from them.
In my own work as a textile designer, I like to gather historical information about techniques and products that were created in the past. The archive provides lots of design inspiration, including pattern books, sample books, literary visual sources, including advertising, leaflets, pamphlets, etc., which are very useful in terms of extracting motifs, pattern and colour, which then can be used to design new products or new textiles in a more contemporary way.
Our textile collections can help us tell the stories of local communities in Scotland. For example, in the 1890s, United Turkey Red was formed, building upon a long tradition of dyeing in Alexandria.
In terms of a particular collection called the Turkey Red collection we have here, which has come mostly through the United Turkey Red Company, existed at the end of the 19th century. It's a very rich resource for many reasons. It's got amazing brightly coloured printed textiles that are really intriguing, very attractive, and draw the attention of anybody that's looking at that archive. And some of the big questions are, how are these beautiful colours made? And actually it's a very interesting story, because this industry for making these very special textiles is a very local story. It's about Glasgow and the Vale of Leven, all the way along the Clyde, right the way down to New Lanark.
My favourite object from the collection is from Clark & Co. It is a late Victorian children's book called The Eventful Story of Miss Cotton's Visit. It's an advertising booklet aimed at younger children, probably girls in this case, to encourage them to sew, but all through the text there are lots of references to Anchor Cotton, which was the brand name of Clark & Co. So the document itself is very useful because it provides advertising information, but also from a dress and textiles point of view, what people wore at the time, what their homes looked like. The illustrations are very, very visual. So that's my favourite because I found it useful on so many levels.
By the 20th century, James Templeton, the carpet manufacturers, were the largest employer within the city of Glasgow, and they sent their products all over the world, really a direct export of Scottish talent across the world.
It was interesting actually finding like how the different departments, who did what. It was hard work. It did the photographs in the archive, seeing the women. I don't know what they're doing, but they're either cutting threads on the carpet, just lying in this lush carpet and cutting it, when they'll probably never get to, see it.
The Stoddard and Templeton Design Archive is a vast resource of wonderful designs and patterns and sketches. One of my favourite parts of it is the archives relating to the Festival Pattern Group. Unusually for carpets, these aren't floral designs, but they are designs drawn from the molecular structure of crystals. So it's quite an unusual thing to see in a carpet design archive, but they're just lovely.
One woman said she would love to go to Paris because she worked on that carpet. It's at the British Embassy. The carpet's there. She says that would be one of the things she would love to do.